I have here in front of me two of Yamaha's flagship PSR-E series keyboard, the EW425 and the PSR-E473. Which of these two is more suitable for you, and is it worth the difference? We're gonna go through it in this video, and I'm gonna let you hear the differences in the sound as well as explaining to you the differences in the features and functionality of both these keyboards. As at the time of recording this video, the PSR-E473 costs $369, whereas the PSR-EW425, which has 76 keys, costs $489. There is a $120 difference between these two keyboards, so should you pay more? Let's find out. If you prefer 88 weighted keys keyboard, you can find my recommended one in the description. Because the EW425 has more keys, it is therefore wider. This keyboard is 47 inches in the lengthwise, and this is only 39 inches. So you get about 8 inches in the length differences. Other than that, the width and the thickness of both these keyboards are exactly the same. And because the EW425 is wider and has more keys, it is also slightly heavier. The E473 weighs just 15 pounds, whereas this is 3 pounds heavier at 18 pounds. One of the big differences between these two keyboards is the amplification system. The E473 has a more basic pair of 6 watts amplifiers driving the speakers, whereas the EW425 is twice as powerful, and it has a pair of 12 watts amplifiers giving you a total 24 watts output. But do not be mistaken, on paper it sounds like it's twice as powerful, but it actually isn't double the amount of volume, because volume and decibel really is logarithmic. But the speakers on the EW425 definitely sounds cleaner and more powerful, more robust, and the bass notes also sound stronger due to the higher amplification. Due to the higher amplification of the speakers, the EW425 requires a 16-volt power adapter, whereas the E473 requires just a standard 12-volt power adapter. And the batteries that you need on the E473 is just 6 AA batteries, whereas on the EW425 you need D-size batteries rather than the more widely available AA batteries. Beyond these technical differences, all of the connectivity options, all of the effects, features and functions, as well as the number of styles on these keyboards are almost identical. What is different is a couple of sounds. So both these keyboards have 820 tones. Both these keyboards get the exact same default grand piano voice. Let me give you a listen on sound number 1, which is the live concert grand. And now on the EW425. You can hear they are identical, and I can definitely hear that these samples are identical on my headphones. But if you are listening to it on the onboard speakers, the one on the EW425 sounds better due to the better amplification. But what is different is tone number 2 on the E473 and tone number 2 on the EW425. Because you're paying extra money on the EW425, you get a much better tone number 2. Here you are getting a live grand piano sample, which is a newer sample, versus the standard stereo grand piano sample, which is quite dated and has been in PSR-E series keyboard for more than 10 years. Let me give you a listen. This is a very dated sample. Passable, not the best. Whereas on the EW425, you're getting the live grand piano, which is a newer sample. That is the difference in tone number 2. If you want to find out what is this pair of headphones I'm using, do check out the description. Beyond these piano tones, there are 10 organ tones found on this PSR-E473 and EW425, which are sampled from the Yamaha's YC organ. So 10 of the organ tones, there are more than 10 organ tones in this, but the first 10 organ tones are sampled from the Yamaha's YC organ. However, the sample on the E473 is not as detailed. You do not get the key clicks as well as the sound leakage found on traditional electric organ, whereas you have that on the EW425. Let's listen to the first one. So that's a more analog sounding organ tone, whereas on the E473, you don't get the key clicks and you do not get the sound leakage. Definitely not as alive as the one on the 425. Let's listen to another one, the jazz lead organ sound. And on the E473. Definitely there is a appreciable difference, but whether the difference is worth the additional money, only you can answer. Let's listen to one more, which is the gospel shout sound. I definitely prefer the sound on the EW425. Let's listen to a hard rock organ sound. You can hear that it's grittier on the EW425, and there's just so many more little harmonics and little sounds in it that makes it more detailed than the E473. If you don't want to spend so much on these keyboards but want something which has quite a lot of these features, you can check out a cheaper alternative in the description. So now the question is, who should buy the EW425 and who should buy the E473? If you are a piano player and you want more of the better piano samples and you need more keys for your piano pieces, the EW425 is a better choice. If you're an organ player and you're going to play the organ sounds in your band or in your arrangement, then the EW425 is a better choice for you because it has better organ sounds, that is for sure. And if you do a lot of voice splits where you have a sound on the right side and a different sound on the left side, the greater number of keys, 76 keys, gives you greater range on your left hand, your right hand for your sound placement. Whereas 61 keys, sometimes you may find it a little bit limiting if you are playing a melody line on your right hand and you want to use a piano voice on the left hand and you're doing runs on the left hand, and you find that it's just not enough range. However, if you don't use voice splits that often, then the E473 is enough for you. And if you basically play a lot of synth sounds, your woodwinds or your saxophone sounds, your guitars, your strings, then the E473 is really sufficient for you. If you're someone who performs and you want to use one of these keyboards to perform with, the EW425 is better if you are not able to connect to more powerful external PA system because the speakers are just simply more powerful. However, on the E473, beyond your living hall or your living room, you really want to connect it to a pair of significantly more powerful keyboard amplifiers. If portability is a priority for you, the E473 is definitely more compact and lighter, easier to carry around without feeling fatigued, and the AA batteries are easier to locate as well compared to the EW425. The longer width, you can definitely feel that it's not as handy and it's a little bit more challenging to carry around, and the extra weight also can feel burdensome after some time. I hope you found this comparison useful. I have done individual in-depth review for each of this keyboard, which I will leave a link in the description. Do check out my list of recommended digital pianos, keyboards, and music learning apps as well in the description. My name is Jeremy C, and I'll see you in my next video.